Welcome to the first episode
Thank
of
you.
Teacher Diaries.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Mrs. Preeti. Before we talk about your role as an HM, how would you introduce yourself as a person and as a teacher?
As a person is a difficult question. Let me try to answer that. As a person, I'm a very friendly person, very empathetic, approachable, sometimes temperamental. I can't say all good things about me, right? And I'm a very loving person.
I know.
So for some reason, I think my parents kept my name Preeti and it वो यथार्थ हो गया. I became like that. I just love people. I'm a complete people person. So I think that adds to how I am as a teacher also.
Right.
While I come through sometimes as a strict teacher because I keep correcting my children all the time, but in my heart I have a lot of love for my students.
Yes.
I have probably taught. It won't be wrong if I say almost 3,000 students till now across different levels. Each and every one I remember. Most of them I remember. I remember them by names, and sometimes I also remember what their parents do, how many siblings they have. So I am a very connected teacher. And when it comes to subject, my interests are in varied subjects. Although I'm an English and social science teacher, and now I also take business administration. But I love art, I love dance, music. So I see students as a complete package. And therefore, my reaction to them also is a complete package teacher. So I would call these are my few traits as a person and as a teacher.
So you are a versatile. Yeah.
Yes, a jack of all, maybe master of few.
Yes, yes. That is so humble. We have
Yes.
to be. So now, I wanted to ask something different question. What is the dilemma of a teacher? Okay, whose son studies in the same school. Do you think he's privileged?
Okay, so I have since the time I've been into school teaching, I've always had my children. I have two children, son and a daughter. They've both always been in the same school where I've been teaching. So there are pros and cons. The pros are that they get extra attention sometimes from teachers. That could also be a con, but they're always under my vigilance, which my daughter definitely doesn't like. But yes, for my children, it has happened that there are preconceived notions which teachers carry about them.
Yes.
And my personality is very different from my students, but they try to identify them through me. So this is a disadvantage for my children. So they feel that they are being seen in the light of their own mother, which could be a disadvantage. Also, when they do something wrong, so they also pay a little more than a normal child, because school managements also, I feel, see children of employees differently, because they might be more sensitive to a parent who's not an employee. So I have faced this in my, say, long career of 10 years with a particular school. But also I've had advantages. Many a times, my son particularly has gotten away with certain things because I'm at a position there. Like teachers have become my friends, and they have told me over the phone that, please ma'am, usko zara samjhao aur chuskondi mi abbai ki. So I have tried to correct that. So it's both. It's a
I
mixed bag.
resonate with you. I have a son and daughter, we are
Yes,
from both.
yes.
So it happened to be that there's a disadvantage and advantage, as you
Yes.
said. Advantage is like we don't have to attend PTMs
We don't have to attend PTMs
because
also.
they are
Yes.
under our vigilance as a mother.
Yes.
And yes, sometimes it's a disadvantage also, because my son always feels when you're correcting the papers, ma, you pull out my paper first to check. So he always keeps telling it's not a privilege to be a teacher, it's a popular teacher's son.
Yes.
Also,
True.
once, they are constantly, they have to outperform others.
Yeah.
Now, coming to the most important question, ma'am. Do you still remember your very first day as a teacher?
My very first day as a teacher was, I remember two instances. I started teaching in university first. I was a college lecturer. It was intimidating because I was quite young that time. I just had my first child at that time, and I was transitioning from corporate to teaching, because I didn't want to go back to corporate one, and I always had this inkling towards teaching. So when I went to university, and they are all second year was what I was taking. So they don't really care who is the professor, and especially when there's a new one, they're very eager to see what she is going to offer. And I was taking a tough topic, so it was a bit intimidating day one. And I had to connect to them as a friend more than a professor. And my school first day also, I remember, it was reverse. I was given primary. You know how primary is.
Yes.
It's a bunch of very, very energetic and few notorious students. So there, they were intimidated by me. Because when I went there also, I had to change my attitude because, you know, you cannot be in lecturing mode.
Yes.
So I became quite playful. And you'll be surprised to know, ma'am, I have done a stint in nursery also. I have taught nursery children.
Oh my God, it is very difficult for senior
Yes.
secondary student. If you send me,
Yes.
you know, to nursery, I will be like going crazy. I can't manage.
Yes,
I
I
don't know
just
how to
remembered
handle.
it's nowhere in my CV. But when I was taking nursery, I was on maternity break for my second child, and I had just started putting her in nursery. Somehow the nursery teacher left, and the school owner asked, "Ma'am, please, only 3 months are left. Can you come?" I was like, "Okay, let me just go." I gave them a condition that I'll come with my daughter and come. So that was again one more, like, it's too much. I just had 15 students. First half an hour they used to just cry. So I have different memories of different levels of students I've taught, but all of them are good, and all of them have added to what I am as a teacher today.
We teachers will know whatever they are children.
Yeah, they are children. I mean, I think the most important quality which a teacher has, which I very proudly say that I have, we have to be very non-judgmental.
Yes.
The
I
moment
totally
you
agree.
start judging a child, you can correct them. You can tell them that, and children like honesty.
Yes. Yes.
Many people think, in fact, many times our school management also feels that we should be very politically correct with students and parents. I don't agree with that.
Yes.
Yes, there is a way of putting things forward, but teachers have to be non-judgmental.
We
towards
cannot be
students.
politically correct because we
Yes.
are more empathetic.
We are empathetic, but non-judgmental is one trait which I feel should
Yes.
be. And when you give feedback to parents or students, that time also without judging and with a lot of care, we need to come across. If these things a teacher is able to achieve, I feel a lot of our challenges can be addressed in that.
I feel that, rather than saying when our generation was there, our
Yes.
teachers were very ruthless.
Yes, yes.
She's poor, she's bad, she's this in English,
yes.
she's that.
I-
At least we are
our-
doing
our
positive
maths te-
reinforcement.
Our maths teachers used to say in PTM, "Aapa beta gadha hai."
Yes.
Ante, what do you call it in Telugu?
Garda.
He doesn't know anything. Zero. Isko aap ghar pe baithao.
हाँ.
So we have heard those kind of comments. I mean, of course, I was a topper through and through, but I used to pity those children but we used to make fun of them.
See, I resonate so much with you these days when I'm listening to you. The same thing happened,
Yes.
where the same first day it was challenging for me also. They were treating me, they were all, I was teaching degree college. They were all papers flying
Papers
around.
flying.
And I just entered. They did not
They
even
do-
recognize me
Yes.
as a teacher or lecturer.
No, namaste, no, good
No,
morning.
nothing.
And they will comment from the backbenchers can
hooting.
comment also. Hooting, yes, all this happens. Even now, I'm sure it happens in.
But what I felt was from our generation to this generation, whatever we have faced, we transformed ourselves.
Yes,
So we
yes.
don't want to repeat the mistakes of a teacher.
Yes.
Having said that, yes, we have learned a lot from a teacher.
Yes.
But also the mistakes they made where we were humiliated in
Yes.
front of our parents.
Yes.
That we rectify to a 90%
Yes,
level.
yes,
We
yes.
don't want our children to face
to
that.
face the same. And what one more shift which has happened is, are students ready to take negative feedback? They are not. They are far more sensitive than we used to
Gen
be.
Z.
Yes, my very favorite generation is Gen Z, and
They don't give a damn about
Yes.
anything.
Yes, and but at the same time, if you tell them something harsh, they become very sensitive about it. So
They talk about different things,
Yes.
racism, biasness, and all.
body shaming.
We thought racism is racism
Yes,
properly.
proper racism.
And they are like for anything
For
and
anything,
everything.
they can use the words that this teacher is racist. I've heard such comments from students,
This
and
teacher-
I've been zapped. Do you even understand what you're saying? But everything is very. So these things which a teacher just blurts out can be of a lot of importance to the student. So those shifts are very visible now in school teaching.
Now let us go back to your childhood.
Yes.
Who was your favorite teacher? And when you were a student, what are those qualities which made them special?
Okay. So I have studied in many schools. So in different schools I had, but you will find it very interesting that I always liked my English teacher the most. Most students have
Yes.
their English teachers or max social science teachers as their
Yes.
favorite.
Yes.
So as I was always very influenced by my English teachers and one social science teacher. So I can tell you about two of them. When I was in grade 6, we had a social science teacher called Miss Karen Brown. I am still, maybe she remembers me. I'm still in touch with her through Facebook. So when she taught us social science, it influenced me a lot. because that was the age where you're just about to enter teenage. I was influenced a lot by the way she used to bring her ideas, the way she used to connect with us. And I was a very academic student. I was a lot into academics plus co-curricular also. So she used to encourage a lot of co-curricular activities also in students. So that was one. Second teacher who influenced me a lot was my English teacher, who later on became our headmistress also. And now she's currently a principal. In fact, yesterday when she saw my status with this teacher diaries, she wrote back to me that she's very proud of me. So that connect which we had with the teachers, that made them very special. And it's not that they used to be very goody with us. They used to scold all of us and sometimes playfully pull our ears also, give us punishment also. And also we had one PT teacher who was very strict. I'm still in touch with him, and he was from the hills. I don't want to name any of them, but sir used to be very strict with all, and I was also one of the student council members. But I still remember him for instilling that discipline in us.
Yes.
So it's not that strict teachers cannot be influencers. They influenced me in different ways. But as I said, always it was the English teachers who I connected the most with.
Me being an English teacher, I can very well resonate. They have that typical personality. Maybe
Yes, yeah.
I also got from my teachers. Remember our PET teachers were fun when they used to speak English.
English in the wrong way. There's so many memes on that.
Yes. Their English was like, but they were very good in that thing which they were doing.
Yes.
But when they used to speak English, it was a fun time,
Yes.
What is that particular thing from your school days that you still make you smile, where you have done something stupid or being studious, getting punished is like.
Yeah, so I was, I have a very strange personality that way, that I was always the teacher's favorite. I was, like I said, very good in academics and co-curricular. But as a person, I'm very naughty when it comes to, playing pranks. My children won't believe it because they see me as a serious mother who's always lecturing them.
Yes.
But I was very naughty also as a student, and I still remember there was some work going on in the school, some furniture work, and there was a lot of Fevicol kept there. So me and my best friend got this prank that let's just silently take some Fevicol. We took that Fevicol and put it on the desk of the first bencher, whom we used to anyway tease a lot. That fellow is in London now. I'll remind him that I spoke about him. We put it. And he, Bichara, came with a textbook and he just sat on this. And the whole class was silent, seeing what will happen. Then when he sat, he felt something. Fortunately, his pant didn't tear and he was so annoyed with us. And for a week, I think we were just apologizing to him.
Then he spoke
so
to you.
He knew that it was me only, and my best friend, because they knew that these kind of pranks only we could dare. But because I was a very good student, I, was not punished for it. I just got warned by my class teacher and she was like, come on, Preeti, you can't do such things. So, sometimes it's an advantage if you're the teacher's favorite. I took it to full, to my advantage. I used to use it. I mean, teachers will never suspect that I'll do it. But I've done such things in my school days.
So, remembering this, I also was a head girl, as you said, and I was also a teacher's favorite and academically. So one fine day, people could not believe that I could do such a thing. Yes. I was always found in library. They made fun of me, bookworm. They gave me name, all these things. So one fine day, I was thinking कि board exams है, मुझे भागना है, और ये पूरा दिन नहीं रह सकती मैं as a head girl. So what I did, I went to the background. We had two gates, one front gate and one back gate. So first one of them will somehow escape, gate kood ke, and then we used to throw all our bags. From the back gate, and we threw.
Oh.
But everybody escaped. I got.
Except you. Oh my God.
And then Joe Purdy, I was standing in front of the principal and he was like, you are a head girl. How can you do so? You are bunking. What precedent you are putting in front
for the others.
Yes. And this was like, I was not sorry. I told like, I want to study. You are making me sit till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Who will get the results and all? I was speaking, Prapurna, how can you be so forthcoming in your answers? Yes. So I was like, yeah, you're not understanding. I have prelims. So I was standing whole day as an example.
Oh my God.
Even head girl will not be spared.
Yeah.
So it was like that. So we have good memories actually.
Yes, a lot of memories.
Okay. Now coming to the serious question. These days, we see different kind of teachers.
Yes.
There are teachers. Okay, we understand our generation transformed a lot, but there are teachers who are seniors.
Yes.
They are still stuck
in that. Yes.
In that
zone.
I would
call it an era. That era is over actually.
Even in the staff room meetings, we have a constant clash. We have an open-minded discussion, but they are in the closed circuit this one. So what do you think that one quality which every teacher of any age should have in this present scenario?
Yes, one quality which everyone should have, not just teacher, it could be any profession. You have to move with the times. There is
Change.
no such thing where you can resist change. Everyone who has resisted change has gone down. चाहे वो Nokia का phone हो या Ford का गाड़ी हो. If you don't accept change, you cannot survive in this world today. And today's times are even more challenging because change is very fast paced. Now you see Gen Alpha has
Alpha.
become old now.
Yes.
Sorry, Gen Beta has come up. So it is also shrinking how we are changing the generations because everything is changing so fast.
Very fast.
So if the teacher doesn't adapt to the changing times, then she will not be able to do justice to this profession as such. Not doing justice to children is one, but her justice to her own profession is under question. So this is something which I feel is very important. You have to
Adaptive
adapt.
and
You have
dynamic.
to change. You have to be dynamic. Otherwise, you are going to be one piece of furniture. You will become so obsolete.
Yes, definitely. Change is the only constant.
Yes,
as
and
we
with
say.
AI coming up everywhere, students are now questioning: do we need a teacher for this? When AI can teach me,
But
that's
that's
happening.
but I don't think that AI can replace anytime teachers.
No, they cannot. But this is the mindset of the student. Why do they develop this mindset? Because we as teachers have to upgrade ourselves.
Yes,
We have to beat that notion in the student's mind that when AI or a computer or a gadget can do this for me, why do I need a teacher who is stuck in some
That
other
old mindset.
zone? Yes. So that is a challenge which all of us have to address.
Okay. How was your journey till HM?
Okay, very, very exhausting.
Obviously. You tell me.
So, there are there are different types of people, different journeys. Everyone has their own journey. Some reach their destination fast, some reach their destination slow. But I don't know, you can be the judge of this when I say that in 8 years, I have reached 8 years of solid, 8 to 10 years of solid school teaching. I have reached the position of headmistress. So, I won't say it was very fast, but it wasn't very slow also. But I have put in a lot of work.
I know.
And I don't see this as anything very new for me. The kind of work I'm doing is very similar to what I've been doing. Only administrative work is something which has got added to my profile, and I'm doing more of parent engagement now. But the students are the same for me. How I was dealing with primary students, university, or now senior secondary, I see students as students. So the journey has been exhausting. It has been tough.
Good. It was organic, you said.
Yes, it was organic.
Organic
Yes.
is long lasting.
Yes, organic is long lasting. So I've seen the whole cycle. So nothing is like, nothing surprises me. Or, that I know that yes, these things happen and I'm prepared to deal with it.
Who completely changed in your life the outlook towards teaching? Is there any mentor or in a role model?
Okay. Unfortunately, I would say no to this. But there is someone who has changed my outlook towards this
Students?
whole. Yes, absolutely right. And particularly few students who have influenced me. And, I would like to give due credit here to my son. So, many a times I used to try to understand from him that, this is happening. And what do you think is your view? Any particular thing. It could not be a problem. It could just be a situation. And his inputs used to be so fruitful. So he has influenced me a lot as a teacher, I feel. When it comes to other students, there have been so many students who have questioned me in class that, ma'am,
Made us think.
Yes, made us think. When you are able to understand this, why not the others? Or
Yes.
when I'm able to come to you and speak to you, why am I not able to speak to others? So those students have played a very important role in my life to bring me here. And on a personal front, my parents have been a big influence of what I am as a teacher. Although both of them are not from the teaching profession. My father was into human resource management. He went to the level of vice president HR. My mother used to have a cloud kitchen in those days when we didn't know what is a cloud kitchen. But we are 4 siblings, and the way they handled us, they were our mentors and guides for everything. Even now, unfortunately, I don't have my mother anymore. Even now, if I feel something, I always feel that how would my mother
do in this situation or react in
or
this?
what was her reaction be? And she used to be very she used to be very easygoing about things. she used to say, you are blowing the problem out of proportion. So I've had issues with schools, with my children, and when I used to discuss this with my mother, she used to give very simple solutions. This is what you used to do, you should do. So they have been my biggest influences. Unfortunately, in the professional space, I have had influences from many, but I really can't pinpoint this person has been my
Yes,
mentor.
we learn from equality from others.
so many people. Yes.
Parents are worldly wise.
Yes,
so
they are
it
worldly
doesn't
wise, yes.
This doesn't matter how much educated they are. Their
Yeah.
experience only teaches us a lot.
Yes.
So it's a good point if teachers should understand that we learn also from students.
From
It's a
students.
two-way process.
It's a two-way process, and if you don't give that due importance to your students, and
Yes.
you're always on the top-down, approach, then in today's times, again,
It
as I
won't
said,
work.
your survival will be under question.
At many times, students are much more knowledgeable than us,
Yes.
and we have to accept it.
Yeah,
we
we
cannot
have
put
to
that
accept
ego
it.
that
That-
I know better than. No, it's not like that. These days, students know much
Much more
better
than
than
us.
They
Yes.
look like scrolling, but
Ah.
they know what is going on.
They know, and traditional methods won't work with them now.
Yes.
So that's the reason I was also telling you that adaptation and moving on with the times is very important.
Right. Now, let's talk about the human side of being a teacher. Is there an emotional side of teaching that parents and students rarely get to see?
Yes.
The
there
challenges
is-
of a teacher. I want you to
Yes,
talk
yes.
about once the door is closed of a classroom.
Yes.
We hear people talking about student problems, student pressure, parents just putting their kids on or to us like we are paying so much of fees. Now it is your responsibility. We have troublesome parents, we
Yes,
both
yes,
work.
yeah.
The parents come and fight with us. What is that human side of a teacher? How she is going through the mental trauma? I want you to talk about that a bit.
So this answer cannot be linear, but there are so many things I would like to speak here. One challenge which I see in my own teachers now, because I'm at a level above the teachers and being a teacher also, one thing which is very challenging for the teacher is the physical exhaustion of day in and day out. If you compare a teacher with any other profession, no matter what, whether it's raining outside, there's an earthquake outside, you're on a very high fever, whatever it is, 7:45 you need to be in school. Just imagine in today's times the challenge of that. If I compare it with a corporate employee, he can easily take a leave.
Yes.
Or not even take a leave, aram se go to office by 10. My apologies to all the corporate employees, you have different challenges. I'm not undermining you. But yes, for a teacher, that day in, day out of
Time,
clockwork,
like a clock.
Like a clock, yeah. The body has to run like a clockwork. And we have teachers of different age groups.
Yes.
And most of the teachers in India are females. They also have their own issues which are not brought into picture at all. So first challenge I feel is this physical exhaustion. There are teachers who have joined us back after maternity break. Imagine a teacher who has just given birth and we just give them 3 months of maternity break. Some schools don't even give that. She has come to school at 7:45 and she's expected to be on the job without a break till at least 3 p.m. And you and I know that how much justice we do through the day. Out of the 8 periods, there are 6 periods which they are teaching. Those 2 periods which are so-called leisure periods are gone in a jiffy. It could be substitution, it could be corrections, it could be meetings, it could be question paper setting. So that clockwork of solid 8 hours of work, I can challenge nobody does this.
Yes,
In the
I
world.
totally agree. You can understand my plight.
And those 8 hours of solid work needs at least 8 hours of complete rest, which the teachers don't get.
We take homework.
We take home our work corrections. And now I'm on the other side also, I'm on the admin side. While I fully empathize with her, with my teacher, but the schools run like that. Our schooling system is like that we cannot give them any leave. And then we'll have our Independence Days and Republic Days and competitions and
Preparing
students, taking responsibility of that. So this clockwork of physical exhaustion affects them. So many a times the teacher is mentally, emotionally not prepared, but she has to run with the syllabus. Academically also, the challenge is that things are changing very fast. With all due respect to CBSE, every day we receive a circular that this needs to be done.
Done. Yes. Training.
Every day there is a circular that, now we are introducing this. There are those who are very well aware of what is happening in the education sector. They would know that issues are going to the Supreme Court. That how can students cope up with this? But no one is talking about how can teachers cope up with this.
They have to complete the portion. They have to do the corrections. and they have to do other clerical work.
Yes.
They have to call the
They
parents,
have to call
fees
the
collection
parents, fees
also.
collection also sometimes. And despite this, I would see that most teachers are doing a great job, a phenomenal job by just handling those. See, we are lucky that we are in a private institution where the student strength is 25 to 30.
Per class.
Imagine the school teachers who are in semi-private organizations or in government colleges or schools. How many students do you think they have? At least 45 to 50? Can you imagine a teacher taking 4 sections in a day and 50 into 4, 200 students she's supposed to take care every day?
She's a mother, second mother, that too expecting
For
like a mother.
200 students. And I think that is also prompting the new generation to avoid teaching as a profession. What do you feel?
Yes.
I'm not seeing any enthusiasm. In fact, I would like to say that I'm also a certified career counselor. So I used to take career counseling, career guidance classes for my students. If I'm taking a batch of 90, not even one used to say that I want to be a
become
teacher in life.
Because I've seen my mother, I've seen my teachers, how they're struggling.
Yes. And there's no money
Yes.
on top of that.
Yes.
Equate this work to the amount of payment we are giving to our teachers. How is it justified?
True. True. I read in an article like these days 60% of attrition rate in
Yes,
teaching. Earlier when we started, people used to leave their lucrative jobs like you.
Yes.
They used to come into
Come
teaching.
into teaching, yes.
Nowadays, teachers are leaving this thinking that there is no space and
There's
no
space,
salary.
no space, and
Until there is no
convenience,
work-life balance.
No work-life balance. Exactly. Earlier, from our when we were children, we used to this theory occurred to me a few months back that why is it that we are not getting the kind of teachers we had? Do you feel that gap somewhere? So the most in those days, of course, women did not have so many opportunities. So I personally feel that those who used to come into teaching felt that earlier when we were school students, we used to get so many teachers of ours who were intellectually there. Because I feel in those days there were many women who didn't get an opportunity to be an astronaut or a space scientist or join ISRO or even not be maybe a surgeon or a financial expert. So there were very restricted professions where women used to actually thrive. And teaching was one. And so many respectful personalities we saw in those days. But over the years, what has happened with all this IT boom and all, I think people also understood that their intellectual capacities can be used there. More than that, they can be compensated for their intellectual capacities.
So
Which
various
I feel-
profession.
Yes, because the other professions became far more lucrative in terms of money,
Yes.
in terms of designation, in terms of respect in the society. But today, if you tell someone that, I'm a teacher,
Just a teacher.
that thing with that comparison has come. You're right when you're saying, just a teacher. They might be feeling a bit respectful, but that which the teachers of our previous generations commanded, somewhere that is missing.
Because they were not doing any other work other than teaching us
Yes.
very creatively.
Yes,
Now we are multitaskers.
we are multitaskers, and somewhere we are compromised in our job. We were there to teach.
Yes.
But that has just become one part of our job. There are so many things added to that. So it's, parent engagement has become a very big part. Earlier, in parent engagement was only during PTMs.
PTMs.
And you could be open with them. And
Only
parents-
after exams.
Yeah, parents had that aura of a teacher. Now, do you think that aura is still there?
Parents used to respect our teachers. Our parents used to respect our teachers whenever they used to go. But now they treat us like, we have given we have admitted the child in your school. Now it's your responsibility.
Now
We
it's
are
your
paying
responsibility.
so much of fees.
Yeah, this equation of teaching to money has done a big damage to the education system, I feel. I was listening to Sadhguru once, I just remembered, and Sadhguru said that if you follow the US on everything, then you are on the wrong path. And the logic which he gave for that was because in the US, everything is equated with money.
Yes, commercial. Everything
Everything is
capitalistic mindset.
Everything is commercialized. And education is a value. If you commercialize a value, it is but natural that the respect element will go down. So this statement which you said, we often hear in many schools that we have paid so much fees. So there, I feel the teachers' due credit comes down.
Yes. And parents आके बोलते हैं ना, क्या कर रहे हो आप सुबह से?
हाँ.
मेरा बेटा यहाँ ज्वाइन किया है.
Yes.
ये आपकी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है उसके मार्क्स लाने?
Yes.
Is it not a shared responsibility between parents and teachers?
Of course it is. Of course it is. It is a shared responsibility. And who is taking advantage of this situation? The student. The student has become
टीचर ने नहीं पढ़ाया,
or he can play very
Both
nicely
ways.
between the parent and the teacher. So often in the parent-teacher meetings, it happens. You may or may not give credit to the teacher for the good marks, but you will definitely pinpoint if your child is not doing well.
So don't you think a little bit more empathy is required on the part of parents?
Of course, a lot of empathy is required, and they should not see teachers as on the other side of the fence. They have to be partners in this. This generation
It's a shared responsibility.
Yes, it's a shared responsibility, as you said, and this generation is not very easy to handle because they are also having too many elements around them. Life has become complicated for a student.
Remember COVID times?
Yes.
They used to send children whenever the school is
Yes,
open. We
yes.
had full strength.
Full strength. Why is that? Because
Why is that? They are unable to handle.
their
And they
own.
expect us to handle for 8-9 hours
Yes,
in a day
yes.
without they being empathetic. So
Yes.
when we talk, we go to parent-teacher meeting. We as parents,
We as parents.
we know what the teacher
Yes,
is
yes,
facing.
yes.
So
if, we are more empathetic to. In fact,
we don't ask only. We
don't
know
ask
if marks
because
are less. We know
yeah,
what is going on.
varies.
But we know we should not blame the teacher
Yes,
for that.
we should not blame the teacher for that because yes, teacher is doing a fantastic job, and of course now I can see that not many teachers come just because of the love for the profession. Since you were asking me about the different challenges we are seeing, there are teachers who are teachers by choice, and there are teachers who are teachers by
chance. These days we are getting
More
teachers by chance.
So they are. That is why they. You also said attrition rate. So if they don't like a school, they immediately move the next year.
But that is affecting the mental health of students.
Students, yes.
They tune to a particular teacher,
Correct.
and finally the teacher feels, and this new generation doesn't have patience.
Yes.
How much we tolerated and we
Yes,
traveled.
yes,
That's
yes.
why we have so many students wishing us on Teachers'
yes,
Day.
yes.
They understood our endurance.
Correct.
But these days, and moreover, as I said, there are no subject matter experts we are finding.
Of course. There
I
are.
often get calls, Prapurna, suggest me a good English teacher. I said, ma'am, where should I find? You have English teachers, but good English teachers who has a base
Very
somewhere, they're taking teaching so granted.
Yes.
They do MSc in some subject and they do English and then they come and teach.
Yes.
That should be stopped, I feel. Ki those who are masters only be given that subject.
Yes, but if one more challenge is if we have, like you said, suppose if we put this condition, then where are those teachers? Where are we going to find them? Teacher employment has become very tough. Every school is facing this. Every
Yes.
school you ask, we don't have maths teachers, we don't have social science teachers,
English
we don't
is
have
a
English
dearth.
teachers. English is a big dearth, and I feel second one is social science. These two subjects we also faced a lot of
Nobody is
challenges in
taking
employment.
humanities.
Humanities is something which, because to be a teacher in that field, you should have a good solid 5 years of experience.
Yes.
And that 5 years of experience, if you have changed 5 schools, I feel that is not true experience. Whenever you join a school, young generation teachers, I would like to advise you, stay in the school for at least 3 academic years. You learn a system properly, you work on yourself, and then you go to another.
They have this answer. Now we both are having about 20, I have 25 years of
Yes.
experience. I started at a very young age of 19. They say, ma'am, we are not your generation. We
Yes.
can't tolerate.
Yeah, we cannot tolerate.
Somewhere you have to learn. We tolerated and we learned
learned.
and moved.
Yes, yes.
They want our equal salary.
Yes.
But they don't want our experiences.
Yes.
They don't want. So what is left is mediocrity.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to use that word, but good that you brought up. Everyone is chalta hai. Itna kar raha hai to itna chalta hai. That mediocrity. Nobody is like working towards excellence. And
Yes.
we are
Limited.
transferring that to our students. If a teacher is not looking at excellence and is satisfied with certain level, how can we encourage our students to be excellent? If I'm not a subject matter expert, how can I ask my children to research and become subject matter experts? So that is damaging the overall quality of education,
True.
is what I feel. Even students have that mindset, no? They will take 11th and 12th science, get into some engineering college, get into some job or travel to the US, do MS, do something, and then
Survive.
survive. So where is excellence in this
lost
equation?
somewhere.
It's lost. It's lost.
Ma'am, do you agree? Now you are in the other side. You are also a teacher. Do you agree with so many trainings we are being forced to? Are we really able to use in the limited amount of time where we have completed the course,
Yes.
syllabus, and the happy classrooms, happy
Yes.
teachers?
Happy teachers.
All these concepts are good on
Yes,
paper,
but
how challenging it is for a teacher.
No, none of the classroom trainings which our teachers are taking, including CBPs, the so-called CBPs, which are mandated by CBSE. So, what competencies are we building in that? What is the ground reality and what are the competencies we are building in these CBPs? There's a huge gap. So,
See, on paper, I feel CBPs are good.
Yes.
But the thing is, you are training teachers for skill-based, immersive learning, experiential learning. But what is the problem when you're taking at the end the pen paper test?
Yes.
Where are we putting these skills in practice? Then you change the testing tools also.
We have to change. There is an overall change which is required. What we are doing is we are trying to change the teachers. We are not changing the system or the implementation of these systems in schools.
Yes.
So it has to be an overall change. Just by upgrading teachers, you're not going to change school education in India. So all that alignment, NEP is going at a snail's pace.
Yes, I have trained for more than 200 hours, ma'am. I can proudly say. But when I try to put those practices, where is the time when we have 12th and 10th board sections?
Yes.
English teachers are given very less. We have to complete, we have to do SEAs, MAs and all those things with the project work. The time is limited. The holidays we have reduced.
Yes.
For us also and for the students also. But where is the justice done?
Yes. And when all of this is done, student motivation is low.
Yes.
How much we are struggling students to finish their own work.
True.
This is one point where no training can help us. There is no training which can help us to, this is an individual teacher's connect with the student. But despite that, these challenges are there. Like you said, this generation of teachers is also different and students is also different. So we are right now in a very, very difficult phase of education system, I feel.
Yes.
Where we are going through a lot of transition, which is not conducive definitely to the teachers.
Yes.
And the students are not of that maturity that they'll understand they're in the phase of a transition.
So now I'll come to a question environment where teachers feel valued and heard.
Oh, that's a very, very important and difficult question. So, school leadership plays a very important role in this.
Because it boils down to them.
Yes. How school leadership looks at teachers. If you're looking at your teacher just as an employee, then all these challenges will remain. If you look at teachers as an asset, these problems can be sorted. So, school leadership, not just the management, it's the principal, it's the headmistress, it's the coordinators, it's the admin team. If they start looking at teachers as their biggest assets and not compare them with infrastructure or the AI tools which we are using or the other things which schools are gimmicks, I would say, are using in today's times, our social media is flourishing. So that comparison, if you don't make and you just feel that the biggest asset a school has is its teachers, then only then I feel teachers themselves will feel valued. Now, how do you do that? There are different ways of doing it. Respect is one value which has to be very important in school.
And it should be made compulsory, mandatory. You cannot scold a teacher in front of a bunch of students.
Yes, it happens. I was shocked to know that there are many schools where the school leadership is,
Blatantly.
Yes, blatantly and openly giving negative feedback in loud voices to teachers. I mean, you have set the wrong trend by doing that.
It affects the psyche of the students. They will also start forming opinions about
the teacher. And the same thing is percolating to parents. When parents, if you're even doing it in hidden spaces where you are shouting at a particular teacher without others seeing, news travels. And that same sentiment will flow in the whole school as well as outside. And reputation is something which everyone values. So if you're putting your teachers down in front of students, that's the worst you can do. That is the worst thing you can do because teaching, we come from a country which has the Guru Shishya Parampara for thousands of years. And we have broken it very successfully by commercializing this whole equation. So where is the Guru Shishya Parampara now? Earlier we have had gurus like Dronacharya who have asked for a thumb.
Again,
and the Shishya gave it without asking a single question. Now you ask a notebook from a child and say that, why have you not brought? And the child will start arguing with you in this class. Where is that respect element gone? The past few generations, school leaderships, government, everyone has to be blamed for this. And to a certain extent, us teachers also are responsible for it. Because we also did not maintain that kind of an aura which
we did not stand for our rights.
We did not stand for that thing. So, I feel that teachers,
Those who are standing,
yes,
questioning,
they are removed very
they are removed, or
conveniently.
they are they are being challenged.
Yes, and very
Their
conveniently.
increments will be cut down just
Yes.
because they
So this is the ugly side of teaching. Our audience should know that we are replaceable
easily. However, you are a subject matter expert. However, you have a lot of years of experience, empathy. You have carried so many successful students. But the thing is, we don't butter. We don't go to management often. We are not the carriers.
Yes.
So it affects on our career.
Yes, it affects on our career. And from the student point of view also, if you see, sometimes, my own son, in one of his teaching years, he had 4 teachers who taught one subject during the year.
Imagine.
And there were gaps in between also in those 4 teachers, because of course there's a transition, one leaves. So what justice was done to that subject? And unfortunately, I was a teacher in that particular school, so I could not question the management on this.
Yes.
Because I'll be seen in a different light. So my son was able to manage because I could help him a bit on that subject, and he is a bright student.
Luckily.
Yeah, so he did not face that. But what about the average and below average children? And we are charging so much in terms of fees. What justice are we doing for them? So school managements have to change this. They have to stop looking at teachers as just employees who are replaceable. Parents also have to understand that, she is or he is your son or daughter's teacher, and they cannot cross the line with them. So these things, when the when the adults start behaving like this, the child has no choice but to reflect the adults' behavior. So that's what is my answer to you, ma'am.
If the teachers are exhausted, how do you think they should be motivated?
Teachers are exhausted. That's a fact. Why are they exhausted?
We
all know that. Again, we need to simplify processes for them. We are complicating processes for them. The exhaustion is because of that. My job as a teacher is to teach. Any student of grade 1 can tell you, what does a teacher do? Teach. Are we doing that?
That is just a part of a job.
I'm leaving a few questions to be answered by the audience.
Yes.
So,
don't you think, Preeti, that we should often motivate them by giving them rewards?
Yes,
how a
recognition.
small star or a smiley motivates
A child. Similarly, so there are schools. I have a good network of teachers in many schools, and I keep having these discussions with my teachers, my friends who are teachers in different schools, and they tell me small things like, I completed 3 years in that particular school, and they gave me a gold coin for that.
See.
So it's not about the monetary benefit here. It's about that recognition. And we have on the contrary, teachers who have spent 15 to 16 years in a particular school and have left without even a flower in their hand.
Experience certificate as well.
Yes, experience certificate as well. So we do. What kind of value are we giving to that person's contribution to 16 batches? Say 1600 students have passed in 16 years in her hand, and she has taught multiple classes. So those things, like you said, rewards and recognitions, you may not give him a gold coin, but a small gesture of going and talking to the teacher and patting the back also can do wonders. So valuing the teachers is very important, and creating an environment where your teacher feels that, I'm the most important aspect of the school. So that holds value.
Now, coming back to the most controversial question. I have heard my friends, in the teaching fraternity. I don't want to name anybody or the institution. It's heard that, during CBSE board exams, of course, no teacher sits. But when you have an age group of all, from the seniors we have, also in regular school time, chairs are removed from the class in many schools.
Yes.
Why? And one more, adding to this, teachers are forced to make WhatsApp groups on their phones.
Yes.
In their own personal phones, where it takes a lot of space and time and continuous, spamming by messages. Also, clicking pictures on CCTVs and sending in the teachers' groups, humiliating, alerting teachers in the group, shouting teachers in the group.
Yes.
All these things somewhere lost the humane aspect or humane angle or humanity. Why teachers are treated like that, like some dirt?
Exactly. So I would go to an extent of certain school managements are literally teaching, treating teachers as slaves. Removing chairs is the worst one can do. I mean, which if you are a corporate employee, can you stand 8 hours and work? Is it possible? If you are say a reception person, reception desk you're manning, can you stand for 8 hours and work? So it is inhuman. All the things which you have said, removing chairs. It's up to the teacher. I mean, all teachers know that when they're using the board, they have to stand. And if they sit and they have given some work, even in invigilation duty, if they're sitting, then they can see 25 students at a time. So these are things, going back to my question when you asked that how we can value teachers more, certainly by not doing such things. That screaming at teachers in public forums. And many a times I have heard that teachers have been scolded like students in front of students.
Yes.
I mean, what kind of environment are you creating then? And that's also one of the reasons that there is so much of attrition. And then the management feels that why there is so much of attrition. The cause and effect are with you only. So you need to understand first is that you have given a very challenging task to a teacher. Handling 25 personalities, because now the generations have become like that we don't believe that the sheep mentality is no longer there. Herd mentality is no longer there, and you are not allowed to scream at students. You're not allowed to say anything harsh to them, which of course we should not, but sometimes it is needed. You are not allowed to give them any kind of timeouts also. Plus you have the fear that if I say anything to him, the parent will come fighting. They will ask for CCTV camera footage. So all this is making this more and more ugly day by day.
Profession. What is your take on this WhatsApp groups continuously?
Yes, definitely. No, we should not have a teacher's time is only up to a certain limit. 8 to 3 is a good enough time, or 7 to whatever is your school timings. Those 8 hours, 7.5, 8 hours plus their commute time, everything put together. Beyond that, if the parent wants to engage with the teacher, I think we should discourage that. Because when do the teachers get time to rewind? Or to work on their own mental and emotional balance. I have had teachers coming to me and saying that, ma'am, this parent messaged me at 9:30 and he was very annoyed that I didn't answer to the parent. And this was escalated to the senior leadership. Why is a teacher required to answer to your message at 9:30?
And moreover, being a female teacher, you cannot, you are questionable at home also.
Yes, you're questionable.
Husbands will ask, why are you getting messages at this time?
And why are you still with your, nowadays many teachers those who can afford, have started keeping 2 phones because they don't want their personal time. Yet they are questioned, and the schools are not providing any such gadget or SIM cards also to their school teachers. They're using their personal phones. And believe me when I say this, most teachers answer to all the queries of the parents, even if they're not required to, because of their own love and care for their students. But if you accuse someone that, they are not seeing that I wrote at 9:30 in the night. I sleep by 9:30. You won't believe this. I have a schedule where I sleep at 9:30. But constantly in my mind, at the back of the mind, it's always running that did I miss a mail or a message? And 5:30 when I wake up, there are so many wellness gurus who are saying that we should not pick up the phone. But I pick up my phone at 5:30 in the morning, that in the last 7 hours which I slept, has the sky fallen down?
Yes.
It is that kind of feeling. Yeah.
We can't
help it. This is an occupational hazard which has become for all teachers, I feel.
वन मोर क्वेश्चन, ये जो सीसीटीवी पे हम लोग का कैमरास लगाते हैं, कॉन्स्टेंटली बिग बॉस की तरह हमें मॉनिटर करते हैं, हाउ फार दैट इज राइट? मतलब एक टीचर को अगर कोई क्लास में टीच करना है, वो अपने हिसाब से अपने क्रिएटिविटी के साथ टीच करे. उनको तुम बैठी क्यों हो? प्रिंसिपल्स राउंड पे आते हैं, उनको पता है बैड लक टीचर्स का ऐसा है कि जब राउंड्स पे आते हैं तभी वो बैठे हुए होते हैं. सो वो कैसे बताए कि यार अभी तक हम खड़े थे और हमारा बैड लक कि हम अभी बैठे हैं, बट उनको मौका मिल जाता है.
So there is a lot of trust issue here. And CCTV there is an advantage of having
for
CCTV.
Students.
Yes, it is the purpose and with which CCTVs were installed and mandated by our government or CBSE, whatever you want to say, is safety of the student. But why are we using it for now? To check, monitor teachers and pinpoint teachers. So this the whole purpose is lost. Now I keep going to the same 2 words, ma'am. I find you might find me repetitive. Respect, trust. Respect, trust. Respect, trust. These are the 2 things you have to put in your teachers. All your problems can be solved. You don't need a CCTV monitor then.
Yes, trust is the main thing. Yes. अब एक और क्वेश्चन पूछूंगी. हमारे टीचिंग प्रोफेशन में हम दिखते हैं फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ सब्जेक्ट्स को ज़्यादा वैल्यू देते हैं और मेल टीचर्स को ज्यादा सैलरी देते हैं,
Exactly, which is a very, very
फीमेल्स हम ज्यादा रुकते हैं,
Yes.
हम ज्यादा एफर्ट देते हैं. ये मेल्स आते हैं, क्लास लेके चले जाते हैं और हमें बच्चों को रेडी करना है, हमें बच्चों को स्क्रिप्ट देना है, उनका प्रैक्टिस लेना है, उनका इमोशनल वेलबींग देखना है. आप इस पे क्या बोलते हो?
I totally agree with you. And again, due apologies to all my male colleagues. You are also doing a fantastic job. But men, this is my personal opinion, please. Men are not multitaskers.
They are not. They're not wired
It's
like
a
that.
fact. It's a fact. They can teach one subject. At the most, they can do a little more of administrative work with that. Women were born to be multitaskers. They are multitaskers. But that should not be the reason for giving us more work and less pay. Now you are justifying by saying he's a maths teacher. It could be a she also. She's a maths, and
But she's salary won't be that much. Her salary increment would be not be that much with what a male salary would be.
Yes.
Just because he's a primary earner.
Primary breadwinner, and maybe 2 decades back this would have been okay. But now in today's time also, if we're talking like this and we are differentiating, then we are living in caves.
Yes.
We should not. Again, here I would say that there are 2 ways to look at this. Is again what kind of a school you want and what kind of a professional you want to be. So these 2
benchmark should be there for increments. That all should these
differentiation should be there. Performance based appraisals should be there, which I don't see in schools. It's a blanket that state decision that all the people in this level, we have different levels in school: primary, middle, senior secondary. So okay, our senior secondary should be getting X amount, our middle should get Y amount, our CCA team should be getting Z amount. But there is no differentiation. We don't have proper. Maybe some
मतलब काम करने वाला और काम नहीं करने वाले को सेम मिल रहा है.
सेम मिल रहा है. तो क्या डिफरेंस है फिर?
तो काम करने वाला तो डिमोटिवेट हो जाएगा.
डिमोटिवेट होगा, और होते हैं. मैं
कर रही हूँ, मुझे सेम मिल रहा है.
Yes. So not just male counterparts, sometimes others
also.
So this differentiation has to be, meritocracy should be there even in schools. When you're applying all other corporate rules and regulations in schools, then why not appraisals also? Why not give a rating system here also?
Yes.
So आप एक तरफ से हमें सारा काम दे रहे हैं,
कॉर्पोरेट के जैसे
हटा रहे हैं, सीसीटीवी कैमरा फुटेज दिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन आप अप्रेजल्स और मनी तो उस तरह से कॉम्पनसेट नहीं कर रहे हैं. So I was in one of my career guidance classes only. I just asked them to guess my salary.
That
I didn't tell them what was my salary, but they guessed triple of what I was getting.
So I feel that ना मैं सबसे बोलती हूँ यार, मेरा पोजीशन पूछ लो, मेरा डेजिग्नेशन पूछ लो, मेरा क्वालिफिकेशन, सैलरी मत पूछो. That actually it should be applicable to males, but teachers में like हमें बस सैलरी मत पूछो, तुम बाकी सारे पूछ लो, हम बता देंगे. सैलरी मत पूछो भाई. ये मतलब भी, और the sweeter way of saying is मैं सैलरी के लिए काम नहीं करती हूँ. Yes, that's the biggest lie. वैसे हम इतना awards dedicate करने के बाद when we say that we are not working for salary, it's like we are too बड़प्पन है अपना. हाँ, तो ये all the more reason that you should respect teachers. Yes. और टीचिंग में सिर्फ रेस्पेक्ट ही है, यही हमारा सेटिस्फैक्शन. These are the taglines which we live. Yeah. So, but now the next generation of teachers is not going to buy that. Yes. So change has to come in there also. So it's a very precarious situation. So now the current hot topic. We are teachers. So what is your take on this CJP protest? Now we as teachers, we should be neutral. Yes. So what do you think should happen? What is your suggestion? As a teacher, the issue, I would just address that. As a teacher, my heart will always be with the students. I can't see my students suffering because the paper was leaked, or they could not reach the center on time, or they had to go through the pressure of writing it again, or it's very, very saddening when I see that someone is hitting students who are so they're not yet matured enough to understand this. The political angle is a different debate. But as a teacher, my support will always be for students. If we can't support students, then we are spoiling the next generation and the decades to come. So my heart will always be with students. The cause is right, I feel. So somewhere, yes, naughtiness we can forgive of the children. Yes. The cause is correct. The cause is correct, yes. There is a need for educational reforms, and this paper leak should be stopped. But yes, it could have been better, the protest. Yeah, it could have been more organized or more on a serious note, because sometimes it gets diluted by political gimmicks, interference of media, or people with different agenda. One day your students may forget the lessons, the homework, and even the classroom. But what is the one thing you hope they never forget about you?
Yes, the one thing which I want my students to always remember is, if at all, I have inspired them to be constant learners. I'm almost 50 now, and I always feel that I'm a student even now. I'm ready to learn from my students. So that is one thing which I want to leave or touch every student of mine, that never forget that you are a student and you're a constant learner. If I'm able to achieve that, then I've really delivered my job as a teacher.
As we say, na, learning is from womb to tomb.
Yes.
It not only applies for
From womb to tomb. Yes, so beautiful.
Thank you, Preeti ma'am.
Thank you so much for
Preeti,
having me
being
here.
a friend and
Yes.
so positive
Thank you
about
so
the
much.
whole podcast. And thanks for being my first guest.
Thank you so much to you, ma'am, to bring me to the table. I love conversations which circle around education, and I hope that all our listeners will like this and resonate with our thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The first episode with Mrs. Preeti Rao, one of my close friend, as I already mentioned in the promo video, the parent of my favorite student. And yes, we had such a meaningful conversation. So I welcome all the teachers across. Yes, the only thing which I feel that minimum 10 years of experience should be there to know the know-how of education, how it works. So all the teachers, even a JPHS teacher, even a college lecturer or a professor, this platform is for you all. You all are welcome to share your thoughts and ideas. I hope this episode reaches all of you who really are the change makers who want to make a change in this education system. Thank you.